What are you gonna do? Like,
How would
why
you
are
like if
you?
someone talked to you that way? You know, how would that go for you? Not so well. Or how would it go for that person talking to you that way? Not so well. So don't talk to other people like that. Or talk to other people like that, but just expect the same fucking energy back. You know? If you're gonna be stupid, you gotta be tough.
Somebody's watching me.
My anxiety, you know? I'm so tired of that song, but
I had no idea that originated from what's his name?
Will Smith,
Will Smith, yeah, in that show.
Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Thank you.
They did the because they were doing that dancing scene and they used that song for it.
Yeah, I seen Will Smith and the cousin doing a remake. Like they're both like older now, and they did a remake of it because it went trending on TikTok. Oh, fuck's sakes! I can't move.
That vitriolic pickle. I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure if I like that one yet.
Which one?
Vitriolic pickle? Vitrio?
Vitriolic.
Yeah. Not sure about that one yet. I've seen them around, but I'm kind of like, okay, nah.
I feel like Venom's just like creeping around here all the time.
Yep, I definitely.
Creepy.
He had a little hard on for Jenny for a little bit there, but yeah, then his account got shut down, so I don't know. It's to build up that account. He was so butthurt that I tagged the Humi account in one of the videos I did about him. He was so butthurt about that.
Why?
Because I was proving that he's a fucking idiot prick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The paranoia, it's just the paranoia in some of these people is real. And I'm sure I've displayed that in certain things too. Like, you can't help it when people are constantly fucking with your trust. I get it. But some of the stuff that these people come up with, even with me, like some of the things they're coming up with regarding me, I'm like, what the fuck? Tell me more, please. Can you also provide any kind of proof? I would like to see the actual like visual movie of this thing you're telling about, because I don't remember any of this shit happening. And then these people are like, I don't know, like mistaken. Her paranoia is actually like crazy.
What did they come back and say about that fucking video? What did they double down about with Backwoods, the not signing it, or what was it?
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense because, hang on, let me check. It said it was meant to be part of the sentence, but when you look at it, no, it can't be part of the sentence.
That's not part of a sentence.
Right.
Listen, I'll show it right now. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Like they're trying to backtrack and say it was meant to be part of the sentence. I'm like, no, that's not how it is.
Yes, I'm still in my robe and slippers, people, just in case that offends anybody.
Hang on, let's see exactly what they said to me. Hang on.
Jenny Doses, David Pish, and Anthony want the cross to be a subject again. How does everyone involved in that weekend feel about showing all the videos from that weekend and the aftermath? They have been calling it a KKK weekend for months and putting the blame on Crystal. I'm sure Clay will be really happy about this. Kressler and Jimmy have been quiet. Phil the Goat has remorse. Shall we drag this all up again for their entertainment? Why would they put that down?
That they replied to me, and they're typing to me right now. So, husband, you know I'm talking about you, and I know you're in listening. It wasn't meant to
That's
look
disgusting. They would put
as
his name at
backwards.
that.
It was a whole sentence, a reminder of what will be brought up if the denial continues. So it was a whole sentence. How is that a whole sentence? It's not. So I think you should remove it.
Don't put his
Completely.
name on the end of that shit. Leave him alone.
Yeah, remove the backwoods part because it does look like you're speaking on behalf of backwoods.
And they're also
It's not part of
weaponizing
a
Backwoods.
sentence.
This is what, oh man. Backwoods went to them, and more or less the reason that, I mean, he hasn't told me this specifically, But I'm sure that everybody else can put this together. But probably went over there because he didn't want to fucking get looped in with this fucking shit that they were threatening. They were threatening for charges and all this stuff. He probably went to them to say, listen, this is what happened on my side of things. I'm not part of that thing. You know, leave me out of it kind of thing. And now they're weaponizing his kindness that he showed to them to give them whatever they could, whatever he could to like make them feel better about the situation. I don't know. Like it's a messy situation. I don't even want to fucking talk about him. Leave him out of it. Leave that man alone. He's been through enough. It's absolutely disgusting that anybody would weaponize him. Stop it.
Oh, I think that making
Houseboat
it
did that,
as
Red.
though those words are from like him recently or something, and that like somehow they're supposed to make that post.
Man is in treatment, and he is leave him alone. Let him.
They said to me, "Thank you for making them aware in Jenny's live," and I told them they're welcome. So I guess that was the plan. Maybe I don't know. Because I replied, "Well, that's how it looks."
And Crystal
like
having your name on
backwards.
That person, whoever's behind that account, is clearly defending you, Crystal, and you know what they're doing is fucking wrong, and you're gonna try and sit there and try to have sympathy with people. This is why nobody fucking cares about you guys' feelings, because you guys keep doing this kind of shit. You don't care who it hurts. You just want to have your fucking moment. You want to go feel special? Go do something for your community. That's how you can feel special. Having your gotcha moment on TikTok is not a way to feel special, especially at the expense of a man who is extremely sick and is not here to defend himself. Leave him alone. Shame on all of you for doing that.
Yeah. You know, that's very fucking cowardly. To put your name on something.
In the comments of it, Sourpuss said, "Don't do this" or something, and then somebody mentioned you, Lisabella. Whatever. It's like something about, I don't know.
Talk about me all you want. Leave that man alone. Say whatever you want about me. It's not true anyway, so I don't give a fuck. It doesn't need an explanation because it's not fucking true. They can talk shit about me all they want. Leave that man alone. Like, I'm so angry right now at these people. They say they care about this person and they're weaponizing him every fucking chance they get. It's disgusting. That man was my friend, is my friend. I care about that man. I care about that family. A lot of people do. Stop showing over and over again how fucking heartless you are, people. You want to feel special, like I said, go do something for your community. Go give back to the fucking homeless people. Go and, I don't know, hang out with the elderly or something. Go do something of substance with your life. Stop weaponizing a man who cannot defend himself.
Okay, so we know that it exists. We know that it's been put out there. You've called it out. Let's stop talking about it. Let's just stop talking about it, because the more that we talk about it, the more it's going to fuel them. Okay?
Well, it just got put out, like, right now.
I know. I understand, and I'm not coming down on anybody here that is upset about it, but we have to ensure that this doesn't become like, you know, the debate of the week or whatever. Nothing like that. That's exactly what they fucking want. And at this point in time, we need to do what's best for our friend.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, come out of it.
And like I just
about
said,
me all you want. Leave that man alone.
I'm not coming down on anybody in this panel at all. I'm just, let's not fall into the trap and make this the conversation of the week. It's probably going to get mentioned again, but
we definitely know where it's going to get mentioned again. I'm going to try and put it towards, excuse me, holy fuck, this dumb.
Yeah, like Chris just said, let's not give anonymous accounts that much power especially on this subject.
Yeah.
They're cowards. No one should even be looking at them. Don't give them views. Don't give them anything.
I haven't even been looking at them. It was just so randomly sent to me, and I was like, oh, what's this? Oh.
If you watch the if you watch the video even once all the way through, it counts as a view. You know? So You don't watch it all the way through, it doesn't count as a view.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was a video or just the one thing. So I guess I played it through because whatever. Let's forget about it.
Yeah. Anyways, do better, people. Do better.
But no, that account is blocked from my lives, so bada boom.
I actually liked that account last year. But then I don't know. This app, man. This app is fuck.
This used to be a fun app, man. Like, we used to fucking be able to do games and, like, hang out and shoot the shit, actually have some comedic times and not, like, people are taking jokes. Like, when people are saying sarcastic shit to each other, there's people that are waiting to hear something, and they just run back and take it as, like,
oh my god, they take everything so fucking seriously.
I
like,
know. And then you're, like, defending things that, like, weren't real.
Right? Like, oh my god, like they're all butthurt. They're all butthurt about me and Pissy and the flirtatious and stuff like that because I have a boyfriend and all this stuff. And it's like if I use my dirty potty mouth to talk about things or accidentally show the case to a cock ring and I have to explain it to Kate. Like they fucking they're so that's so gross and so
they
deplorable.
micromanage everybody's lives. And honestly, I think it's because it's a good distraction, because then while they're distracted micromanaging your life, they don't have to focus on their own fucking failures in their own lives.
Right?
As their dishes stack up on their balcony. You know?
It's just like, Jesus Christ. No, we definitely know how to have fun over here. We definitely know how to have fun over here.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be about them.
So here's the thing, like people have been coming at me for a year. I usually address it once if it's pretty serious, and then I don't address it again. That's it. I don't hold lives calling them out. I don't acknowledge them. I block the fuck out of every single one of them. They still come in, no matter what live I'm in. They say things that are insulting, that are rude, that are just disgusting about me, my family, whatever, the situation, whatever. The best advice that I can give is don't worry about it. Let them say it. Address it once. If it's that serious, address that scenario once. Get your side out, and then fucking hit the block button and move forward. Enjoy the lives. Do what you do. Live your life on TikTok as you live your life on TikTok. And that's it. Don't engage with them. Don't let their words have that much power on how the rest of your day or week or month is going to go.
One of the best quotes I've heard recently was off of a fucking reality TV show, but it lands. And I've said it a few times, but it's what's understood needs no explanation. So if you understand it, if the people in your life and in your circle, they understand it, and your haters are begging for you to fucking put everything out there, you don't have to. It's understood already. And the people that don't understand it, they don't want to understand it, or they would already understand it.
Like, I totally respect, like, I've done it. I know you've done it. Jenny's done it. Spot's done it. You know, you address the subject once. That's fine, right? You explain your side. That's fine. But if we keep on going day in, day out, we are playing their game with them.
Yeah, we become Samantha.
Yeah.
I was making comments in a lefty debate live yesterday, and I was just giving some food for thought in regards to Carney's father, and that he needs to address his father's involvement with residential schools, and he needs to. And I would be like, you know, he's declining interviews with APTN and all these. So PG's like, if you let spotted turtle up in the box, you're going to lose brain cells or whatever. Then I went up in the box and people were calling me a liar that APTN has not talked about this and whatever. So I got up in the box. I played the APTN video for like a few minutes of it, just to say, like, yes, they are talking about it. Yes, they do want to hear Carney speak more at length about his father's sins, whatever, right? Anyway, I got like attacked, of course, and by everybody in the comments. And then I had these white saviors trying to say, well, so a woman who went to that residential school said that he was wonderful. And I was just whatever, right? But anyway, it ended up landing me 3
What was he like
first
the
dates,
nicest Nazi or something like that? That's what the fuck.
right?
Sorry.
And then but the cool thing was and Moist Cake, he was in there trying to fucking defend me. He's so annoying, man, because I can't stand him, but then he keeps on defending me all the time. But anyway, it ended up giving me 3 First Nations followers that were that, and then like a couple hours later, that this guy is live, this native guy, like a full-on warrior, and he invited me up, and he's like, yeah, I was in that live, and he was like appalled with how I was treated, and and he agreed with me about like, we need to consider that, and like, he knows I don't like Pierre Poilievre either. I'm not fucking politically leaning either way. I'm a sovereign anarchist. But if everybody's going to highlight how bad PP is, I'm going to highlight how bad fucking Carney and his father are. So, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, I was really glad because in the end, it gave me 3, people that
I shared a similar post about it. Spot it. I shared I think a week ago, and then I shared the recording. When I mentioned it, I got, well, if you are even Indigenous, and when I explained Mom's story, just like briefly in the comments, I got whatever. Thankfully, Zen was there, and she knows and she respects me, and she stood up for me on that end. But all I've been hearing is it's fake news. And Pierre said this in 2008. He did say what he said. His MP has said what he said. But he's also spoke to First Nations Assembly, and he's made it very clear that he wants to give them more control over their land and waters and finances and all of that stuff. He wants to give them more autonomy over their own self-governing.
I
so
that.
Yeah,
sorry.
And he apologized. The difference was, right, like what he said was wrong. In 2008, what he said was wrong. What his MP has said is wrong. He needs to call his MP out on that too. And disavow those statements. But what he said in 2008, he has publicly apologized for those words. What I heard Mark Carney said was, what my dad's feelings and my dad's actions are not mine. And then he started talking about truth and reconciliation. There was no apology. There was no disavowing what he said. There was no saying what was done and what was said by my father and many others of that time was a problem and has since caused problems within our nation. And we need to start healing and fixing that. And I am sorry that my family was anything a part of that. But that's not what has been said.
That's what I did. So when everybody keeps saying, well, Carney addressed it. So I looked at the only time he addressed it, which is what you're referring to, Red. And it was literally, I counted I saw the seconds. So the question, his reply, and then his rambling. It was 37 seconds of addressing it, of addressing the sins of his father. That's why, and at APTN is kind of left-leaning, but other Indigenous people that I know are wanting to him to deal with it more at length and to answer questions from Indigenous journalists and everything, and he's declining it all. And then it's just like, and I know a lot of First Nations people that agree, like with me, you know what I mean? But then I go into these, I torture myself by going into these circle jerk lefty lives to try and, so I'll put the comments down it was actually surprising because in one, I kept putting it in the comments of somebody's post and I was being called a liar and all that. And then all of a sudden, one of them was like, actually, I researched it, and the troll, meaning me, is not lying. I'm like, well, how am I a troll? Like, well, she's like, you were giving a source. We were asking for a source. I said, listen, I'm not technology literate. I'm technology illiterate. I don't know how to, you guys always say Google is free, right? So and clearly they did their research, right? So it's just kind of like,
trying to say that it wasn't a residential school, and I'm like, it was considered a day school at the time. And then listen to what he says about the people that attended that school. And again, it's because day schools were not as mentioned as the residential schools, so they kind of got swept under the rug at that time, right? And still get swept under the rug. But they were a problem. They were a huge freaking problem.
And in that live, sorry, in that live, yeah, the other day that I went in, the white saviors and the lefties were saying, oh well, day schools were, better and all that. And I'm like, wait, so are you trying to wait? I got confused. I said it went from residential schools to day schools to the 60s scoop to the millennial scoop. Are you trying to tell me that like you're defending the day school? I was just mesmerized. And then I don't know. I felt good in the end, like I said, because I had some people be like, totally agree with you,
Well,
so.
they asked me if my mom attended the same one that he worked at. I said no, she didn't, because like clearly she was like in the Ontario area, right? Ontario, Quebec kind of area. I know she ended up moving out west somewhere, but she wasn't up in the Northwest Territories. She wasn't there as a child. So I said no, but she still attended the day schools, and she had her language literally stolen from her. And she was in the foster care system at the time, because that was another dirty game they were playing. They were putting them in foster care systems and sending them to these daycare systems, which they were abused of. And the comment was, whatever. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. And then somebody else had mentioned that, oh, well, that was way up north and blah, blah, blah. And it was much harder. And the ones in the city. No, my father was in residential school in this fucking city of Toronto. It wasn't any better just because it was a big city. And I was just mesmerized by it. And I went at length. So the clip of Carney's father speaking, there's much more to it. It's even more deplorable than just that.
What were the words?
Culturally, our word.
Yeah.
Culturally, yeah.
Yep.
And but nobody wants to hold him like the excuse is he is not his father. I'm sorry, but you still need to, if a good chunk of Indigenous people want a deeper answer, then he needs to give it.
Exactly.
And he rambles and mumbles and like nobody even knew who this fucking guy was before a few months ago. Every time I say read his book, some people are like, oh, I read it. It was great. No, you didn't fucking read it. If you read it, you would not say it was great. Like I didn't even know he had a book. It was Bellfire Star that mentioned an article. I looked at the article. It went at length speaking about that it led to the book, and then I read a portion of the book, and then I read the book in its entirety. The guy's a hardcore WEF globalist. He doesn't give a fuck about Canada. I've seen interviews recently, news reports recently from the United Kingdom that were from the past about Carney and how he destroyed the Bank of England and how he destroyed like the United Kingdom. And if you look at how the United Kingdom is now, this is what our future is, because Canada's huge, so it's harder to see. You know what I mean? The destruction in UK, you're seeing it. Like it's just wild, man. Everything. This whole
What blows me away too, right? Is like, if we're talking about like Black History Month, for example, and they talk about the things that happened in the past, slavery and stuff like that, and then they want like retribution and all that stuff for that. However, when we are talking about what happened in the past, even the most recent past, which would be the case of Carney's dad, right? Well, he's not his father. He's not his past. It's like, okay, but he was still a part of that family. He was still raised in that environment. He still heard those words. And what we need to hear is him disavow those words. Call that out and say what my father did and said and participated in was absolutely disgusting and vile. And that is a shame upon my family. And I intend on doing my best for First Nations.
Yep, and in
Right.
Scotland, like, oh, my father said though that interview was in the late '60s. That's the same time, like Pierre Trudeau was doing the white paper and trying to destroy the Indigenous people at that point. But Justin Trudeau, oh, he's not his father. Same fucking bullshit talking points about no, actually, what's that they saying? Like father, like son, a chip off the old block. Well, if you're not that, then you need to address it. And
Well, both of Trudeau's fathers were evil. Let's be real.
yeah, right.
He got jumped right into like
Stepdaddy and his real daddy.
he acknowledges it, but then he just starts talking about the key words, truth and reconciliation. What has that done for our communities? What has it done for you? What has it done for the Métis community? It has not done very much. There's been a lot of chaos, a lot of strife. Okay, we wear orange t-shirts on one day and we like stand for the missing and murdered Indigenous women to a point. How long have the people been standing outside dumps in protest, standing with the people in Manitoba? We've been doing that for years now. And nothing got accomplished. What was anybody doing about it? Nothing.
You know what? It's like even I notice they're trying to divide Indigenous people like on the app, on the streets, or whatever. Like remember with the whole you shouldn't wear the orange hand, the red handprint on your face, and it was arguing back and forth, and then there was a lot of I'll say full-blooded. I just say that because visually Indigenous people saying, no, we need more people to do it and whatever. And it made me think of you, Red, but as well as myself, but you because you're fucking white as a ghost with red hair. You're Indigenous. Yep. If you've got that red handprint on your face doing a video or walking down the street with me, right? Why? Like, okay.
I'd be called out.
You'll get called out. And it just irritates me because it's hard because there's one side of our people that'll be like, no, white people or whoever shouldn't wear it. Always got to use the white though, right? No, don't talk about nobody else. And then the other side, which I'm of like the more the merrier. If you're going to speak on it, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
I don't know.
People attach too much to skin color nowadays. Like, people look at me and they go, "Oh, this white guy knows nothing about Native culture and everything." I'm like, not only am I Native, my mom unfortunately went to residential schooling. It's like, but people go, "You don't know what it's like to struggle with our people," and it's like, I'm one of you. Like, it's just because
they're judging you based on your skin color.
Yep. Oh yeah, I get that all the
It's
time.
essentially racism.
It is like there's a new era going right now in society where it's okay to be racist against white people, regardless of what their actual background is. It's like, oh no, it's okay because white people have power, so we can be racist against them. It's like, but you should be racist to no one.
I literally had to make a video saying, because the question was put out there, I'm sure we can all agree she doesn't look Métis. And I'm like, my video was like, what does a Métis person look like? Because we don't have just one, like when it comes to our community, we don't just all look the same.
Nope.
We just don't. And like my dad's bloodline is clearly I'm a redhead, right? So there's a Scottish line in there. But my mom's like, I can show pictures of me and my grandmother, and my grandmother is very similar shade of color, I guess you would say, to what Spotted is. Like, it's like you can't. And then they say, well, you didn't experience that form of racism. No, my perspective is very different because I grew up within a Métis family presenting more white because of my red hair, right? I didn't fit in anywhere. I wasn't fitting in anywhere. Like I can remember as a child being called derogatory names and stuff like that by white kids and by Native kids. And I would be like,
by the natives you're seen as not Native enough, and then by the whites you're seen as too Native. And it was, I know, I had the same thing. And it's like, for example, like the friend in chat there, Cowboy Carl, you couldn't tell by that he has a European background because I'm not even joking, especially the summer, the guy looks Arabic with how much of a tan he gets at work. And he actually gets mistaken that all the time. Like where if he goes across the border with his wife, they ask his wife if she's okay, and being like, "Is he actually your husband?" And it's like you can't base anything off of skin color anymore because we're so intermixed.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends. Like if you're native, you have native in your blood, and you celebrate the culture. I don't care if if you look Asian or you look African American. What you are native. If you identify it and you celebrate the culture and it's in your blood, you're native.
So
See,
for
I
someone like Red or even myself, right, or others, so when I often say, okay, walking down the street, visually, a lot of visually presenting Indigenous people suffer the racism more because visually you can tell by looking, right? But for someone like me or Red, doesn't mean we don't have the generational trauma
that's
that
it. That's it.
yeah, exactly, that has been inherited down the line that I didn't get scooped up. That you know what I mean? Like
And it's not like these residential schools were happening in like the 20s and the 30s. That the
Last one
last one
stopped in
closed in the 90s.
1990s.
Fuck yeah!
Last
So
one
this
stopped
is
in
very
Quebec
like
in
some of our
1990.
friends' parents. Like
Yeah.
like you, Red. Like what am I saying? You guys are here. So like even some people that we know that we call friends, they went through it too. So like
I couldn't speak to my mamere. I could not speak to my grandmother. I could not speak to them because of what happened. My mom did not meet the majority of her biological family until she was in about 26, 27 years of age because of what happened, because of the turmoil that she went through. And like I've only shared part of her story. Like it got so much worse by the time she was 17. Like it was wild, absolutely wild. And I've never once claimed, especially on this app, I've never once claimed I'm a status person. No, I'm not. I am not. I am Métis. I'm proud of being Métis. That is where I stand. I support my status brothers and sisters, and I also support and love my Scottish background. Like I know that I walk in the middle, and I am more than fine with that. More than fine.
It's just
But
nowadays, like I just left the live that's talking about segregation and how it's going to be a good thing, and I'm just like, my head hurts because I'm like trying to get them to understand. It's like if everybody just identifies that the group sticks with their group, no one grows and everyone eventually fights and there's a war. And they're like, that's not what happens. I was like, you guys don't realize is like one group's eventually not going to want you in their city because you're already segregated. They're going to either force you out or wipe you out. And I was like, you see people where we identify and they go, well, you're not dark enough to be a native. It's like it doesn't matter. Like my background doesn't define like my blood and whose DNA was stronger doesn't matter. Like you look at my father. I'm not even joking. I've shown photos to my buddy. I found a photo after he passed, him around my age, and someone asked me, "Man, when did you have such long hair?" It's like that was my dad. And it's like I am a carbon copy of my father. His DNA was just stronger than my mom. But if I showed you a picture of my mom, everyone's like, "Oh hell yeah, she's native." Like you can tell.
yeah,
It's just all about how your DNA lays out.
exactly. And then Red, when you made that video, that long video with the photos and everything, that was the final